Hi folks, my name's Kate. I'm the CTO here at Fusion3, and welcome to the first installment of what is going to be a series of new user training videos for our 3D printer Edge. Please watch these videos before using your new 3D printer, and in the case of this first video, please watch it before you receive that 3D printer. These videos are going to cover the basics of setup and operation to get you proficient in using your new Fusion3 3D printer. Please watch all the videos in this series. We're going to require this to receive support from Fusion3 Technical Support, and we're also going to require this to activate your warranty. Our first video is going to cover receiving your shipment. If you're in a large corporation, please make sure to forward this information to your dock crew so they can take the appropriate actions when the shipment comes in. Your Edge 3D printer, and if you ordered a cart, your cart, are going to arrive on pallets like these. This is called LTL freight. It's a shipping method that ensures that the equipment arrives with less chance of damage than parcel shipments or something like that. One of the intricacies of that shipping method is we have to note exterior damage on the boxes before the driver leaves the dock. So this is very important that when you receive the shipments in, you do a quick inspection of the exterior, make sure there's no puncture damage, make sure there's no crush damage, make sure these snow stack cones are intact. If there is damage noted on the bill of lading, you still want to accept the shipment, but make sure the driver makes the notation on his records, either paper or digital. The other thing you're going to want to do is check the shock watch tag, which is the small tag down here, and we'll show you this in more detail later. This is a indicator that will tell us if the shipment was subjected to a shock or drop or something during shipment. If you see damage on either box, please make sure you take pictures as you unpackage it, because that allows us to establish the damage occurred during shipping and will ensure that we have a higher chance of getting a claim filed and that claim being successful. Alright, so your first step, you receive the box, you've noted any damage, you're taking pictures if you need to. Your first step is to remove the shrink wrap. For that, this is really simple. You take a box cutter, cut it off. Okay, that part's easy. The next step is to remove the tie-down bands. There's either going to be 2 or 3 of those on the box. I believe usually we're using plastic bands, which are safer and easier to cut. So just take your box cutter and cut those off. Alright, the next step is two things. Your order confirmation and your packing slip are going to be somewhere on the top of the box. This one's right here. So please open that, make sure everything is there. Maybe that allows you to make sure everything's accounted for. The next thing you're going to do is open the top of the box. Now, this is a demo shipment, so I don't really want to ruin my little cone. So I'm just going to cut him off. I feel like. All right. So in the top of the box is the top tray. That's what this thing is. You're going to see a number of things in this tray. The first is your toolkit here. You're also going to see a roll of filament here. You're going to have some extra space for accessories. For instance, this customer has ordered some spare Bowden tubes, so these are going to be right here. You're also going to have some other space over here. Your Getting Started As folder is going to be right here. This is very important. We'll talk more about this later. Your spare print surface is going to be under that folder. If you've ordered additional print surfaces, they may also be here if they fit. Generally, small accessories are going to be in the top tray here. Larger accessories, such as a cart or a battery backup, those may be shipped separately. And generally you should see a note about that on your pack slip somewhere. Okay, so to lift your top tray up, you do not want to lift by these dividers because these are not structural. You want to lift by these 2 edges and just pick it straight up. And we're just going to put this over here somewhere. Alright, your next step is to remove these corner braces. They just slide straight out. One important note here, we do ask that you retain all these packing materials so that if there is an issue that requires you to return the printer to us, you can do that safely. Obviously, you don't need to keep like the tie-down straps and the shrink wrap, but the foam blocks, the top tray, the cardboard box, and the pallet, we do ask that you keep. Okay, your next step is to remove the cardboard sleeve. This just slides straight up the printer like so. And this folds relatively flat for storage. Okay. So the next step, the printer is actually bolted to the pallet around the side. What we have here is we have a shock-mounted pallet. So the pallet itself is it's got foam spacers, so that absorbs a lot of impact and a lot of vibration during shipment. And then we bolt the printer directly to it. There's one of these wings on each side. And I'll take the drill. These are usually an 11 millimeter or a 10 millimeter socket, and it's just, you're just going to reverse it up. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's all there is to it. And this little wing just slides straight out, just like that. You'll do the same thing to the other side. That's it. So at this point, your printer is, you can pick it up off the pallet and put it wherever you need to put it. All right, at this point, if you also ordered a cart, this would be the time where you go get that unboxed and set up as well, so you have a place to put this. The next step is just a general overall inspection. We want to make sure nothing's been damaged in shipment. And yeah, we check the outside of the box, but sometimes things still happen. So what we're looking for are bent or scratched panels on all four sides. Had to do the math there. You want to look for damage to the LCD. Was it touched? Was it impacted? Make sure this is intact. You want to make sure all your windows are intact. No damage there. They are going to ship with these protective films on them. So that's why they look a little bit cloudy in the video. That's generally it. You're just looking for signs that it was hit or struck by something or mistreated during shipping at this point. All right, let's talk about what's in your toolkit. So this toolkit covers the basics of what you need to operate the printer on a day-to-day basis. Right here we have the filament spool rollers. We'll talk about where those go in a minute. You have some spare print head scrub pads. Again, we'll talk about that later. You have your power cord, very important. You have a couple glue sticks. This is what you put on the bed before you start a print, so your print stick. You have a USB stick. You have some various hand tools, cutters, flathead screwdriver, a collection of Allen keys. So these are all the sizes you'll need to do everything on the printer. Let's see, we have a toothbrush. This sounds silly, but we use this for extruder maintenance. If you have a feed issue, this is the best way we've found to clean out the filament path. You have a brass bristle brush, so this is used for cleaning the print head if it gets dirty or other things that are not suitable for using the toothbrush on. You have your part scraper. This is supposed to come with this little protector on it. This is what's used to remove parts from the bed and to clean the bed off after prints. You have a spray bottle. You put water in this, and this is what you use to clean the bed. And then finally, you have a couple little fixtures. We'll talk more about what each of these do in detail later. This is used for the extruder idler bar springs. This is used for the extruder belt tension. And finally, you have spare 0.4 millimeter tubes for the print head. So this is just two of them. If you order extra tubes, they may be in here, not loose in the top tray, because obviously they're a little bit more secure in here. All right, let's talk about what is in this Getting Started folder. So this, if you remember, is in the top tray of your printer, and it contains a number of important documents and some important information to get you started. first thing you're going to have in here is a printed copy of your quick start guide. And this is basically the same contents of what we're walking you through in these videos. It's how to unpack your printer, more unpacking, the first steps to use, all that stuff. The next thing we have is a warranty and support handout. This explains your warranty, how our support works, and then down here we're talking about certified materials. We'll talk more about that in a second. And then behind it is a copy of our certified materials list. This is a list of all the materials we have tested and approved for use on our printers. It includes all the major families. You see on the first page here, ABS, ASA, polyesters, flexibles. Now, an important note about these documents, your quick start guide and that materials list do get updated periodically. Those updates are going to live on our website, and we'll talk more about that page in a minute. The last thing that you're going to have in here that I do not have today is a handout for downloading and installing the slicer. That's going to give you a link to where to download the installer. It's going to give you the first steps on how to get it configured and how to use it. All right, let's talk about how to unbox your cart if you got one with your printer. Similarly with the printer, the first step is just to get rid of the shrink wrap. Now the bands on these are usually metal, so you're going to need something like tin snips or something a little bit beefier to cut these. General safety precautions, you should probably be wearing safety glasses. I'm not. I'm a bad example. These are not under a lot of tension, so they're not going to whip much, but if they are the higher tension, the more risk they are of whipping when they come undone. All right. You're going to take your nose-stack cut off. Next step is to cut the top of the box open. Alright, the next step is to remove these cardboard spacers. Just come out like this. Next step, I think the sleeve comes off. So the cart is in these cardboard bottom feet here to protect the rollers in the bottom of the cart. Your next step is going to be to pick it up out of these the cardboard shelf. The cart actually weighs more than the printer, so this is definitely a two-person lift. It may even be a three-person lift, depending on who you have available. So, all right, let's. Ready? And then this way. Alright. And then the last step is to just pull the sleeve off. And turn her around front ways. There you go. Oh, that's not the last step. Keep rolling. Okay, inside the cart here, you are going to have your bottom shelf, and so you'll take that out, take the foam wrapping off, and then it gets placed on these L brackets here. The next step in your setup is to take your printer and put it on top of your cart or wherever you are going to place it. So this again is a two-person lift. There are cutouts on either side here where your hands go. 1, 2, 3. And then actually the closet right there. So just slide it forward until you feel them drop in. That's all there is to it. The next step in our unboxing process is to remove some internal shipping fixtures. So to do that, you're going to open the front door. You're going to have two fixtures here. Now, full disclosure, this is an older machine, so it's a little bit different than what we're shipping right now. but you're going to have two fixtures here, and they're going to be held into the bottom of the printer with an M3 screw. So you're going to take your 2.5mm driver, you're going to take those screws out. Alright, so again, there's no screw on these because we don't have the corresponding hole in the base plate, but you're going to take that screw out of this one, and then over here the same thing. Now to disengage these, it helps to lift the Z-axis up a little bit. To do that, you're going to grab the belt, you're just going to drag it slightly to the side, and then these are going to come out just like that. We do recommend you keep these in case you ever need to transport the printer or return it to us to secure the Z-axis during shipping. The next thing you want to do is find these spool rollers from your toolkit. These go in the filament bay. The front one's easy, there's only one slot, and that goes right there. The back one has 3 separate slots, and this is for different size spools. So for 1 kilogram spools, you're going to be in the front, and then for your 3.5 kilogram spools, you'll be in the back. But we ship 1 kilogram spools, so we'll put it right there for right now. Our next step is to connect power and optionally Ethernet. Now first, a warning for our international customers. If you're in a location that has 220 or 240 volt power, you're going to need to change the power supply voltage input selection switch. There's a document for that on our website, but please make sure you do that before you power up the machine. If you plug it in and apply the wrong voltage, you can damage the power supply and potentially other electronics. If you're not sure what voltage you have, or if you're not sure about the process, please contact us before you attempt to apply power to the machine. Okay, so you take your power cord from the toolkit, that goes in right here. And then if you want Ethernet, again, this is optional. The standard variant of Edge is also Wi-Fi enabled. The secure variant is Ethernet only. And of course you can run these without any networking if you want as well. But if you want to plug in Ethernet, that goes right here. And then you're ready to go.